All right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of One More Round, the show where I ask someone if they're down to play one round of Overwatch while I ask them a round of questions. Today, joining me is LCS support player for Team Chile, 9Z, Globant, and Amplify. LCS, man, thank you so much for joining me here.
Of course. Happy to be here.
Man, I'm happy to have you. We'll get into with some questions here, but I have known you probably longer than anyone else that I've known, anyone else that I have followed in Face It here, and it's a really fun thing. We'll bring it up a little bit later, but I want to know right now with you, when did you get started playing Overwatch?
So Overwatch I started playing on PS4 like 2019, and then I kind of went into I got a PC in 2021. I just continued playing.
So you got into it probably around a really good time to get into it, considering COVID and everything. So you had a lot of time to get into it. But so I talked about the three teams that you're a part of right now, but you're also part of a collegiate team at Briarcliff. So across the three teams here that you played earlier this year with Team Chile, Briarcliff, and 9Z in Face It, in South American Face It, how many hours do you think you would actually put into this game in a week?
I mean, it were a lot. While I was at Briarcliff, it definitely led to like double blocks every day. Maybe sometimes even triple blocks, which is kind of stressful at some point because they're in finals week and other stuff. So it's definitely like over 6 hours like per day. Considering like you're in ranked and all. So probably around like 8 per day times 7, something like that.
So about 40 hours a week you would be putting in. So like you would kind of consider this, and I imagine you would consider it with that at least like a normal kind of job.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's stay on the kind of topic here of South American Face It. You've played in South American Face It. You've played in North American Face It as well, like you are this season with Amplify. How big of the gap is there between North and South America when it comes to Face It?
Well, this last season, like the two top teams, I think the gap wasn't really there. Like you look at us on Ice, I think we're closer to like the playoff teams in Face It, not the bottom. And then normally I say the gap is pretty big. So like South America is like a top mid expert, and then it turns into like they just kind of get stomped by the low master sims.
Yeah, I remember when me and Hunter first got into South American Face It around season 5. That was I think the last season that there was an actual open division. Ever since then, it's all been kind of grouped into one tier with it just being masters. But okay, still speaking on your South American team with 9Z Globant, you guys won last season. That was the big season of the year for South America, with it being the one that the winner would go to EWC, and especially because when I first met you, it was at the Owl Finals in Toronto, the last Owl Grand Finals. What is it like for you going from being a fan at a LAN now to going to EWC as a player here? Like, you go from being a fan at the biggest LAN of the year, now you're going to being a player at the biggest LAN of the year for Overwatch.
And it is very insane to like kind of like I got this opportunity. I think it's kind of like something you can't really put into words. It's just kind of like, and it's an experience, and like I think everybody looks forward to like something like this, like be able to do something like this. Even though my path isn't exactly like straightforward like other people, I think it is still like a very fun story to like tell other people about like my journey.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I met you there in Toronto, and like it was so fun to be there for that one. And I remember what everyone was kind of like at the end of it there. But now, like, it's an insane thing to think. Like, I used to cast you in. There's gonna probably be people who watch this who know of the old Community League Tranquility, where I used to cast you there, and now, I mean, I'm gonna be able to see you on the biggest stage, which is just insane to think of.
Yeah. I remember you casted like the first tournament, like the finals, the first tournament ever won. Well,
yeah, it's just an insane thing to think of. It's awesome as well. But I mean, crap. I'm getting juggled here. So you were born in Chile. You come to the U.S. to play collegiate at Briarcliff. What was that like? Like, how did Briarcliff necessarily find you?
So, well, I was supposed to. I graduated a semester earlier to like be able to do collegiate, and I was originally supposed to go to Cumberland, but due to some like visa stuff that's kind of time I couldn't. And then it was kind of like, what wanted to come back to Briarcliff? They told me, hey, you should come play too. Like, we're a really fun program. So I just kind of got in contact with them and that just kind of all worked out.
And
It's a very like international student like based school.
yeah, and I was gonna say, like, I know WedTube or Wed was on your team there at Briarcliff this past year. I know you guys are. I remember you putting out a post saying like, hey, you're looking for a team, and it was almost it's essentially a package deal with you and Wed there. But having a duo like that on your team, especially as your other support player, like, how much of a benefit is that to you?
I mean, it's very useful like to think during this like last semester I was on 3 teams and he was also on all 3 of them. I was gonna just have like one consistent block that wouldn't like move. It's very useful to like kind of have that one person you can like discuss about everything with. Like he's also my roommate, so it goes further than that. Like,
so basically 4 teams with him being a roommate right there, which is,
yeah.
I mean, like, I've watched you and Wed play in South America, and like I've said it during the broadcast we've had, where I believe you guys are probably the best backline duo in South American Face It, and especially when Team Chile picked up Wed as their spotlight player. Like, I knew that you guys were going to be absolutely scary in those games.
No.
But I mean, so you got a long flight ahead of you when you go to Paris here in a couple of weeks at this point. What are you going to be doing during that? Are you going to read a book? Are you going to sleep? Are you going to have music? You going to have a movie?
I'm really more like just like a music guy. I like maybe Harris over next to me because I think I probably will be flying with Bert. They'll probably just kind of harass Bert during the flight and then just kind of like watch a movie maybe.
Oh, God. I had to sit there and think, wait, I thought you said Perth for a moment. I was like, wait, what does Perth have to do with this? Then I realized you said Bert. Yeah, like you've been around some incredible players in your time with this here. You have Bert on your team. You have Hydron, who got picked up as well about midway through last season. Like, would you consider 9Z to be the best team that you've been a part of so far?
100%. I mean, just getting into play with like all these players are like, you know, I've kind of like seen for a while. It's kind of surreal, especially really random. Like, I think you wouldn't expect like Hydron Light to come play in South America, but it kind of happened. But it's been great, and it's like really well to like get this experience. I like learned a lot from them.
Yeah. And I mean, you're gonna like, again, this goes back to, I met you at the Toronto LAN. You're gonna probably end up going to EWC and be one of the youngest players actually playing at this LAN. Like, is it just a thing where you're gonna be taking it all in, or are you gonna try to be kind of proving yourself on a global stage?
I think it's mainly just kind of all like play our best whoever's in front of us, and you know, kind of show off like what our team can do. And I'm really looking for like to prove myself. I really do want South America to like get a better spotlight, if possible, in the future.
Yeah, that's been one thing that like me and Hunter have really enjoyed with covering South America, is the fact that we're seeing that there is still incredible talent down there. It just needs to be recognized. But outside of your team in South America, like, who are some of those players that you, or outside of just anything, who are some of those players that you really kind of looked up to and kind of modeled your game after?
You know, the first one's kind of funny, but I'd definitely say Lastro. I think I really liked, obviously his like attitude was kind of funny for like all of Overwatch League. Oh no, you know, the thing where you kind of play like flex support at some points versus main support. Like, I really wanted to be like that kind of player, like, to be more flexible. And I think I've kind of reached that recently, but it's just a really good aspect that like look up to him.
Yeah, Last thing, you said you're gonna be watching some movies on the flight. When you're not annoying Bert, what movies would you be watching on the flight?
Hmm. I don't know. I normally when I get in the plane, normally just like look for movies like on the TV screen, like just find something I haven't seen before and just kind of get on it. But
No,
trying to think if there's anything I wanted to watch, but I don't think I have anything in mind.
yeah, that's perfectly fair. But hey, that was the game. LCS, man, thank you so much for coming in and do this. Like I said, I've been following you for the longest time. I've been casting you for the longest time, and it's awesome to see everything that you have done, especially in this last year since I started covering Face It. And I'm so happy that your team and yourself, 9Z, are going to EWC to compete. Again, thank you so much. I'll make sure to give shout outs to you to make sure that they follow you on Twitter, follow you on Twitch as well. And LCS, again, thank you so much. And everyone, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you tune in next time for another episode of One More Round.
Thank you for having me.